in this particular case, managers that we want to group their employees by. And we're going to use subtotal to help us do that, not only to group them, but also be able to count how many employees sit within each manager group. We'll start by cleaning up the file just a bit, or just straightening it up and making sure that the column headers are indicated as such and making sure that each column is visible. Now, to make sure that our columns are grouped appropriately, we'll need to sort by whatever we're going to group by. So in this case, we're going to be grouping by the supervisor name. So we'll first do a sort, and we'll sort by the supervisor name, and then we'll do another sort by the employee, so it's in alphabetical order. Okay, so now we're ready to complete our subtotal or grouping. And we'll first click anywhere within our data. And we've already organized it so Excel knows that it's continuous. All of the data that is continuous will be included. Go up and click the Data tab. And once we click the Data tab, we'll go all the way to the last group and select Subtotal. When we click Subtotal, the first option is at each change in. And basically that question is just asking, what are you grouping by? In this case, we're grouping by the supervisors. Next is function, and there are several different functions, whether it be add or estimate, but we're going to use the count option. We want to count. And then where do we want the subtotal of each group to show up? We want to, or what do we want to subtotal? Yeah, where do we want the subtotal of each group to show up? And that's going to be in the employee column. You have your choice of all the columns where you want the actual number of the count or whatever function that you chose to show up. At the very bottom, some additional options like replacing current subtotals. That can be a little tricky, just be mindful of that, as well as summary below the data. So as it counts up how many employees are in each group, we want that to show up at the bottom of each group. And once we've selected all of our choices, in this case, we'll add page breaks for fun between each group, and then we'll click OK, and so it will process our data for us. So it grouped our data for us, and you'll see that all of our data now has individual groups. At the top left hand corner, it's group 1, 2, and 3. We're currently looking at group 3, which is all of the information that is available for a group, meaning who's in the group and the count, as well as what is being grouped by. If you just wanted to see the groups by name and the count within each group, we go to level 2, and it shows us the group by name and the count within each group, which is really helpful. And then also it wonderfully totals how many groups are present, gives us a grand total of all the different employees within each group. For a complete summary, level 1 gives you that grand total as well.